Hey! Hi, everybody. It's Julianne here from Acting from All Angles. Woohoo! No music today, but I have a super cute, fuzzy hat that I'm wearing, and I'm wearing it for a specific reason, and I'm going to tell you all about it. We're going to be talking about playwriting today, which is really going to be fun. So this is sponsored by Actors in Action, and we've got a little chart here. We're supposed to be on emotional fitness, but let's just skip it and talk about playwriting, which is kind of craft. Anna's here. Carolini. Hi. I'm so glad to see you. Okay, but first let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Julianne Lichty Stratton, and I am the creator of Actors in Action Professional Acting Training, where we take actors and help them develop a fail-proof acting process so they can nail any audition, callback, or booking. It's quite remarkable what we do for our little actor friends. It's really, really fun. Yes, all right, so we're going to talk about playwriting today, but first I have to talk about my hat. The reason I'm wearing it is because spring is almost over. It's basically over, but I won't have a chance to wear this hat for very much longer because it's going to be too warm outside. But I have to tell you about this hat. I bought this hat it's got like wraparound stuff and everything. I bought this hat at a 7-Eleven, total impulse buy. She says, "You're beautiful, watching you from LA. Hey, great. That's Carolini. So cool to see you." So I bought this hat at a 7-Eleven after I went and saw a play at SLAC, Salt Lake Acting Company. And one of my students was in the play. It was called The Wolves. It was about a soccer team. And I had gone to see the play, and I was kind of hungry, and I stopped in at a 7-Eleven real quick just to grab a little something. And I saw this hat, and there was also a black hat a lot like it. And I just had to have it. I think they were like $20 each, which is kind of pricey, for impulse buy. Anyway, so the reason I'm wearing this hat is because I bought it right after I went to a play, and we're going to talk about playwriting today. And I'm actually going to take it off because it's hot, okay? And it's cute, but anyway, look how long my hair is getting. All right, I digress. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is playwriting, which is really exciting. The reason we're talking about it is because I just wrote my first play, my first complete play. I wrote another play about 12 years ago. I just have the first draft of it. I still want to finish it. I'm going to finish it, but I wrote this play. And so if anybody out there wants to write a play or a screenplay or anything like that, this is hopefully going to encourage you and tell you the process that I went through to write this play. So it started back last August. I went to the Fringe Festival here in Salt Lake. Another one of my students was in a play there called Shooter, and it was about a mass shooting and this guy that shot people and in a mall, and it was really very heavy subject matter, and that's kind of Fringe festivals, they like to do kind of stuff like that. And I was watching it, and I was like, I would really love to write a play for this next year, and I would like to write about teen suicide. So I've been thinking about teen suicide a little bit. I've thought about it, depression, that kind of stuff. I've been thinking about it for quite a while, and just like how it's an epidemic and how it's just horrible what's happening to our kids, and suicide in general is a really terrible thing. So I came up with a name for it, and I had some ideas about it, and I had an actress in my advanced class that was almost in my advanced class then, Brooklyn. She's now Brooklyn Bagley. She's now in the advanced class. And I thought, she would be really, really great at playing this role. The lead role, I picked the name Amber. The play is called Amber Alert. And so I just thought, Brooklyn would be great for this. And then I had a couple of other students. I wanted a really small cast. There's only three actors in it. There's lots of characters, but all of them play multiple roles. And I had a couple of other actors in mind that I just thought would really fit in. So one was Taryn Turner, and one was Cheryl Holdaway, and who I actually saw in the Shooter play at the last Fringe Festival. So I had some ideas. This was last August, and I actually talked to Brooklyn. She's 14, and this is kind of a heavy subject matter for a 14-year-old. So I talked to her and her mother to see if she'd be okay with playing somebody who was dealing with suicide and all that kind of stuff. And, I wanted to make sure that she was cool with it and her mom was cool with it, and they talked about it and they thought about it, and they said, yeah. they'd go forward with it. So that was great. So I had this fabulous idea for a play. I was so excited. The title Amber Alert, I was going to relate teen suicide to Amber Alerts, kind of like how kids are just abducted and taken away. And that's kind of how it is with suicide. And so I had all these wonderful ideas, as I often do, wonderful ideas. And I would tell people about it, and they're like, oh, that sounds great. But the months went by, and I didn't write it, and I would sit down for like 15 minutes and write a little bit and think about stuff and, figure out scenes I wanted. But it wasn't really coming along. It wasn't really, I wasn't really doing it. And I was like, it was January, February, I was like, I got to get this done. I got to get this written. I got to submit it. By the way, it hasn't been accepted to the Fringe Festival yet. The application is April 1st. So I'm going to be submitting it. Hopefully it gets in. I think it's perfect for it. But I was just kind of dragging my feet. I don't know if any of you experienced that. But what I did was I read this book called Deep Work, which I've talked about before on my blogs and on this show. Deep Work by Cal Newport. It's really fantastic. It teaches you how to focus deeply and get hard things done kind of quickly. And so I read this book, and he says, what you need to do is you need to set aside 3 to 4 hours a day, at least an hour and a half, to really get into something and have no distractions, no sounds, no tweets coming in, no instant alarms, nothing. Just like turn off everything, turn off your phone. And so I did that. So what I did was my room, I'll just show you. My room is I have a bunch of birds right out in the living room, and I needed my room to be quiet, office. So what I did was I put up a big curtain right here. This is a curtain that blocks out sound. It's made out of moving blankets. I just went to I got a bunch of using blankets. I sewed a little thing. I put a little bar. I hung it up right above my door, and then I have another one out there. So that blocks out the sound from the birds, because the birds are very distracting. And then I wear earplugs as well, and I turn off my fountain, and I turn off my phone, and I just sit and focus. So that's what I did with Amber Alert, and I was really shocked with how quickly I actually got it out. I actually wrote the whole thing in 2 weeks. And it's 68 pages long, so it runs probably about an hour 15. So it's not just a one-act play, it's an actual full play. It's not Eugene O'Neill, 3 hours long or anything. But, I thought for my first play, I thought it was a nice length. It was great. So this is exactly what I did. The first thing I did was I went through the muck of finding the structure. And this is the hardest part, I think. I sat down. I knew basically where I wanted to go. I knew what Amber wanted. I knew that she started out, she'd already killed herself, and she was talking to people in the afterlife about where she was going to end up, and that she was going to go through and sort of rehash her life and figure out why she did this, why she killed herself. And and so I had that. I had some scenes with the school counselor, with her dad, with some other stuff. I knew I wanted to pull in some fairy tale kind of things. I love using other stories and fairy tales. I use a little bit of Snow White being hunted by the huntsman. I use a local legend here about Mount Timpanogos and this Indian princess who jumped off the top of it. I used something from Hamlet. I love Ophelia, the whole thing with Ophelia. It's so beautiful, that speech about her drowning. I used that. I also used something from Greek tragedy, Iphigenia at Aulis. So I knew I wanted to combine all these things together. So what I did is I sat my butt down, I had my curtains up, I had my earplugs in, and I focused. And I just started writing a really crappy first draft. Crappy first draft. That's the way to get things going, all right? So I just wrote it, and I was like, this kind of sucks, but I'm getting the basic structure in. I don't really care. I need a scene that talks about this. I need to introduce that idea. I need to blah, 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 blah. So in about 4 days, I had a crappy rough draft of Amber Alert. And what I would do is I listened to my work, because I'm dyslexic and it's hard for me to read it. So I would listen. I would put it on this great app called Natural Reader. And you just can put it into Dropbox, and then you put it as a PDF, and it will read it to you in its sort of natural sounding voice. It's still kind of a little bit computery, but you get the idea. So I would listen to it, and I'd be like, okay, I got to change that. I got to da-da-da-da-da. And so then I did the first draft, and then I did a second draft. And I went through and I fleshed it out, and I fleshed it out. And each time I change it dramatically, I would copy and change the document. So I'd have the old changes, I'd have the old way and then the new way. And so I had probably like a couple of different versions of the first draft, couple of different versions of the second draft. And then I got to where I felt it was pretty good, pretty much what I wanted. I saved that, I made a third draft, and then I went through and I just fleshed it out even more. I really tried to work out the conflict of it. I tried to put in everything that I needed to really convey the message I was getting across. And so by the end of 2 weeks, pretty much I had a really nice draft of this play, a third draft that was good. I felt really good about it. So as I said, I'm dyslexic, so it's hard for me for typos, and I've gone through and I've corrected as much as I can. I'm going to have somebody else who's really good look at and catch all my typos and that kind of stuff. But it was quite amazing. I was amazed that I could write something so quickly if I put my mind to it. So that's basically what I'm getting at with it. So where the play is now is we actually had a reading of it last night in our class in Actors in Action. And it was really cool because a lot of the kids that are in that class are kind of around Amber's age. She's about 16, 17 in the play. And it was great just to see their reactions and their responses, and to see like if I was on point, if I was hitting this right, I was creating, if the subject matter was being, touching people in a thoughtful yet provocative way, which is what I wanted with this. I wanted to start a dialogue about teen suicide. So what happens next is I'm going to have somebody proof it for real. I've already given it to my 3 actors. We are going to be producing it in August, hopefully, if we get into the Fringe Festival. If not, we'll probably do it somewhere else, maybe at our studio. I don't really know. And I'm also contacting suicide prevention, like for teens and that kind of stuff with the schools, Hope for Utah, stuff like that. I'm contacting them to let them know that I've written this play and if they want to use it or have a performance of it or anything like that. So that's how you do it. That's how I did it anyway. And I have 3 other plays that I need to be writing. I have ideas. One of them I have a first draft, and I have 2 other plays that I have ideas for. And now I've done it once. I can do it again. I'll probably, after I get a couple of other projects done, I'll probably pull the one that I have the first draft on and just start writing on it. Writing, focusing. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I don't know if there's any playwrights, or I'm sure there's writers out there. But the thing is, dive in, do it. Dive in and do it, all right? Great. So that's our show for today. Next week, I am going to be in San Francisco getting a tan. No, getting a rust. Doesn't it rain there mostly? I'm going to be there visiting family, working on acting stuff, and I will be doing a Facebook Live from San Fran. So if you want to figure out where I'm going to be, guess beforehand. I'm going to try to maybe go to a landmark. Maybe I'll do it on Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know. And the topic for next week is going to be emotional fitness. All right. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but we're going to talk about that. So over and out, guys. Sorry, no music today, but you did get the hat. I'll put the hat back on because I know it is so cute. Look how cute that is. That is so cute. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week on Acting from All Angles. If you have any questions, queries, want to discuss anything specifically about acting from any angle, do let me know, won't you? All right. Have a grand day. Adios.